Good morning, Munsey Park School. Today is day 7 of our at-home learning, and it's Friday. That means we're ready for the morning announcements, right, Thomas?
Yes.
Here we go.
Good morning, Munsey Park School. Today is Friday, March 27th, 2020. My name is Caroline Tika, and I am from Miss DeSico's kindergarten class.
My name is John Sika, and I am from Miss Cordell's 3rd grade class.
My name is Megan Sika, and I'm from Mrs. Morris' 5th grade class. Please stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You may be seated. We will now hear some important announcements from Mr. Nolan.
Thank you very much, Caroline, John, and Megan. Good morning, Munsey Park School. Boys and girls, teachers, and staff, happy Friday to you all. We want to give a shout out to the boys and girls who participated again in Mr. Nolan's Flipgrid Challenge. And they were wonderful videos. Boys and girls, I want you to know that not only does Mr. Altman and Mr. Nolan look, but we do share them with your teachers. And we love watching your learning. So we give a shout out to Anna Ruth S., Sophia S., Lachlan D., Charlie D., Julia P., Mary P., Finn M., Nora M., Cole M., Dylan T., John T., Lucy K., Lily K., Cole K., Eleni T., Yushay L., Madison R., Harper R., and Jordana O. Thank you so much for participating and sharing the Flipgrid Challenge. Boys and girls, today is National Scribble Day. And National Scribble Day inspires children to show kindness through art. So perhaps using your chalk outside, you can continue to spread kindness through pictures in your community on sidewalks. So happy National Scribble Day. We have mindful words of the day, and they come from our morning mantra book, and they are, there is no elevator to success. You have to take the stairs. Words to live by. I want to wish everyone a fabulous weekend, a great learning day. Don't forget to show your 3 R's, respectful, responsible role model, and don't forget to show your amazing character in your words, your actions, and your attitude. Make it a great one. Let the day begin. And now we are ready for a story. And today's story, Thomas, sit here. Today's story, Mr. Nolan needs to wear an apron. Because the story that I'm going to share today talks about something Mr. Nolan loves to cook. And one of the things Mr. Nolan really likes to cook is pizza. So today, we have a special story. Here, come. The story I'm going to share is The Princess and the Pizza by Mary Jane and Herm Auk, and it's being read with permission from Scholastic. So here we go. You want to sit up? Sit? Come. All right. Ready, Thomas?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. This is a great story. Princess Paulina needed a job. Her father had given up his throne to become a woodcarver and moved them to a humble shack in a neighboring kingdom. Since the king was still learning, his carvings didn't sell, and Paulina's garden barely kept enough on the table. Paulina missed princessing. She missed walking the peacock in the royal garden, surveying the kingdom from the castle tower, and doing the princess wave in royal processions. Paulina tried walking a stray chicken around her shack, but it only pecked at her bare toes. Surveying the kingdom from the shack's leaky roof made even more holes. She tried princess waving to the townspeople from her father's cart, but nobody bothered to wave back. They just thought she was swatting at flies.
House.
One day, a page rode past the shack, announcing that Queen Zelda of Blom was seeking a true princess to become the bride of her son, Prince Drupert. This is my chance to get back to princessing, Paulina cried. She rummaged through her trunk of ex-princess stuff, brushed the wood shavings from her best ball gown, and blew away the bits of sawdust that clung to her diamond tiara. Then she tucked a piece of garlic into her bodice for good luck, snipped some fragrant herbs to cover up the garlic smell, and headed for the castle.
Castle.
Paulina didn't expect much competition. There wasn't another princess for hundreds of miles. But when she got to Blom Castle, Paulina found she was only one of 12 princesses hoping to become the royal bride. When she looked into her assigned room, Paulina saw her bed piled with 16 mattresses. Oh, for Pete's sake! The old princess and the pea trick. That's so once upon a time. Naturally, Paulina didn't sleep all night because she felt that lumpy pea through all of those mattresses. Look, watch. When the 12 princesses gathered in the throne room the next morning, the 7 who looked bright-eyed were sent home. Now only Paulina and 4 other sleepy princesses remained. First, they were made to write essays entitled Why I Want to Have the Gracious and Exquisitely Beautiful Queen Zelda for My Mother-in-Law. Look. Prince Drupert and Queen Zelda finally appeared on the balcony. Queen Zelda did all the talking. Congratulations, lady. You have written some lovely essays which I will keep in my scrapbook. And you have all passed the mattress test. But to make absolutely sure you are of royal blood, there is a second test. Only a true princess can wear these glass slippers. For Pete's sake, you never heard of sneakers? Paulina asked Queen Zelda. Queen Zelda then gave Paulina a sharp look. Nobody said you had to hike in them. Just try them on. After the royal page made his way around the room with the slippers, 2 big-footed princesses were sent home. Now, only Paulina had 2 others remaining. Look at the pictures. One was followed around by 7 strange little men, and the other had such a long braid dragging behind her. Paulina kept tripping over it. For Pete's sake! You never heard of scissors? Paulina cried. Queen Zelda glared at Paulina. You have all passed the second princess test. Your final task is to cook a feast that proves you worthy of being my dear Drupert's wife. Look. This set up a wail among the princesses, especially Paulina. For Pete's sake, you have no royal chef? Silence, said the queen. The table holds the makings for 3 fine feasts. Choose well, for the winner will become my dear Drupert's bride. As Paulina started for the table, the long-haired princess tripped her, then loaded up with food. By the time Paulina got there, the 7 strange little men had run off with everything but some flour, yeast, water, 3 overripe tomatoes, and a hunk of stale cheese. Look, Thomas. Look. Hey, that's not fair, Queen Zelda. Will you help me? No, said the queen, because you have a big mouth. Look, watch, look. A servant escorted Paulina to her room and locked the door. Hey, how can I cook without a bowl or spoons or pots? There was no reply. Paulina tried to make bread, kneading the flour, water, and yeast together, but it only stuck to the tray in a flattened mess. She squished the tomatoes over the dough to brighten it up. It looked awful. She sprinkled cheese gratings over the top. It was still a mess. And Paulina was exhausted. For Pete's sake, where's your fairy godmother when you need her? I'm going to take a nap. She reached under the pile of mattresses, pulled out the offending pea, and climbed into bed. She hadn't been sleeping long when there was a knock at the door. Only 20 minutes left, called the Queen Zelda. I don't smell anything cooking. I'm not cooking, said Paulina. I'm napping. Then I'm going home. You're not going anywhere, said the queen. The losers will be beheaded. Paulina sat bolt upright. Beheaded? You didn't tell us that. I forgot, said the queen. Can't I have a second chance? How about I try to spin straw into gold? Or maybe I could guess a weird little man's name. No second chances, declared the queen. But that's unfair, Paulina cried. Who needs to be fair? I'm the queen.
A queen. I want a queen.
Paulina leaped out of bed and ran to the window, but it was unbelievably long drop to the ground. The meal was her only hope. She rushed a tray over to the fireplace, stirred the few remaining hot coals, then crushed hot garlic, sprinkled it over the mess for good luck. Finally, Paulina tossed on the herbs to cover up the garlic smell.
Smell.
Paulina paced back and forth, planning her escape. Perhaps she could make a deal with the long-haired princess to climb down her braid. She didn't notice that the goopy dough had browned into a crust. The tomatoes were bubbling, and hard bits of cheese had melted, and the fragrance of garlics and herbs filled the room. A page opened the door. Time's up! Paulina took a deep breath and carried her tray into the great dining room. The other princesses had made lovely feasts, especially the one who had the 7 strange little men to help her. Prince Drupert went right to Paulina's tray. It's not pretty, but it smells scrumptious. He helped himself to an unusually generous piece. What do you call this dish? Paulina shrugged. Oh, I don't know. It can't be an official entry in the contest if it doesn't have a name, said the queen. Oh, for Pete's sake, Paulina muttered. What's that? Snapped the queen. Pete's what? Remembering the beheading threat, Paulina frantically tried to think of a name. It's pizza, Pizza! The queen took a big bite. Odd name, but it's tasty. The winner is Paulina's Pizza. You mean I won't be beheaded? I was only kidding about the beheading, said the queen. Then I was only kidding about wanting to marry Prince Drupert. Who needs him? I have other plans. Will you leave your recipe? Asked the queen. No way, said Paulina. It just became a family secret. She headed for the door. I liked you best, whined the queen, followed close behind. Oh, for Pete's sake, muttered Paulina as she stomped across the drawbridge. Princess Paulina's Pizza Palace opened a few weeks later. It featured unusually carved furniture and 50 kinds of pizza. Every Thursday on Royal Chef's Night Off, Queen Zelda and Prince Drupert came to Paulina's for popcorn pineapple pizza. They often stayed to play cards with Paulina's father. From then on, whenever Paulina drove her pizza delivery cart through town doing the princess wave, everybody waved back, ran after her, asking about the day's special. Life was good. Paulina was grateful not to have Queen Zelda for a mother-in-law, but she still worried about one little thing. She worried about getting Queen Zelda as her stepmother. The end. And you know what that means, Thomas? That means it's time for a Flipgrid challenge. And boys and girls, here is your Friday Flipgrid challenge. I want you to draw and decorate your favorite pizza pie. Then I want you to create a math word problem with your pizza. You can show us how to solve it on Flipgrid. And please be sure to show the number sentence. And you can use the interactive whiteboard on Flipgrid. Boys and girls, Mr. Altman and I can't wait to see you again soon. We want to wish you a very great weekend, and we'll talk again on Monday. And with that, let the day begin.